And I'm going to start Instagram because we're just going to do all the things again. Work smarter, not harder, friends. Happy Monday. I think this is going to be my new uniform for Mindset Monday because I just absolutely love this hoodie. I give a shout out to my friend Nikki who made it for me, but I don't think she's any longer making sweaters. Just moving on to bigger and better things. So welcome to, I don't even know what episode we're on, 11 maybe, of Mindset Monday. Today we are going to talk about how to live from your heart space. And the reason I wanted to come on today to talk about this one is because I think it is like super, super, super important. And one of the things that I am sort of going to help empower people to do in the 6-week course that I'm launching the end of February, because, you know, in order to live a completely joyful life, in order to be able to follow those intentions, in order to be able to do all of the things, you need to have a balanced heart. And I don't mean that in just like, oh yes, I love and I do all the things, but like in our body, we have all these energy systems and or energy points, whatever you want to call them. So chakras. And so today I'm really going to focus on your heart chakra. So when your heart chakra is open and balanced, it looks like and feels like the capability of giving and receiving love, giving and receiving compassion, giving and receiving empathy, and the ability to forgive yourself and others. So it really, having a balanced heart allows you to be your authentic self and kind of steer away from the expectations that society places on us. So we all know that conditioning is a huge thing. I talked about that last week, this idea of unlearning what we've been taught, right? To get to a place of allowing ourselves to just be who we want to be or be who we are at a soul level, right? So this balanced heart chakra really allows you to be your individualized soul. So when you have a balanced heart and you can live in this place where you just feel completely joyful, like I'm talking, it's almost feels like you're high. And I can say this from experience, not that I've been high, but just, you know, the feeling that people tell you that it's like is this like euphoric, like everything is great, you don't have any worries, like that kind of thing. It really does feel that way. And, you know, I lived for a really long time with not having a balanced heart. And I was out of balance in my heart chakra because I was very much ingrained and nailed into a people-pleasing cycle. I was very much an overgiver. I was very much a person who could give compassion and empathy to others, but I had nothing to give myself. I was not comfortable with myself. I did not love myself unconditionally. And am I there? No, not completely. I'm going to be 1,000,000% vulnerable in saying that, but I am a hell of a lot closer than I ever was, or ever have been, I should say. And the reason is because I consistently work on this stuff. I consistently fill my toolbox. I consistently do things day to day that matter to me and that allow me to be, you know, in alignment with my energy. And I'm not talking just your heart chakra, like I focus on everything. So it takes that practice, it takes that dedication to yourself. And that's why I'm so passionate about this course I'm putting out, because it's really going to anchor you back in to your connected self. And it's really going to anchor you back in to the importance of putting yourself first, my friends, putting yourself first. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And I know that is the most cliche, like, phrase out there almost right now, but it's so true. It's so true. And especially as women, we are expected to keep everything together. Our mental lists are crazy. Like so many of us suffer from mental burnout before we suffer from physical burnout, because we have to remember the appointments. We have to remember, you know, what cup our kid likes best for breakfast, so there's no meltdowns in the morning. We have to remember which shoes feel scratchy. We have to, you know what I mean? Like all of the things. We have to remember where our husband's keys are as he's like frantically trying to leave for the morning. Like there's so many things that go on in our mind, and that's just for other people, let alone the like lists of stuff. Like, what do I need to get at the grocery store? Who has a dentist appointment this week? Like, where do I need to run my kids after school? Whatever the case, and whether you have kids or not, I'm just speaking from my own personal experience here, but like you always have this ridiculously long mental list that is running through your head. So mental burnout is a huge thing. Well, if you cannot take the time to put yourself first and ensure that you are also giving yourself compassion and giving yourself empathy and giving yourself grace and giving yourself forgiveness when you don't meet those ridiculously high expectations that you put on yourself. Welcome. Then we don't have a balanced heart chakra. So part of balancing your heart chakra is connecting with the element of air. And I think this is really interesting because people talk about, deep breathing or breath work or like being outside in nature. Like, well, hello, let's just combine all of the elements here. I'm going to pull some little things together for you. I don't know, maybe you know this, maybe you don't. But when we think about surrounding ourselves with open space, with air, and we talk about getting out into nature, I'm going to tell you, your heart chakra is normally green. That's how it presents itself in color. So filling yourself with green things, whether it's green food, green, like the color green, green crystals, natural green things. I mean, we don't have green things where I live right now because it's February. We have dirty brown grass, but it's close, so we'll take it. But the more you go out into nature and surround yourself, you're getting that natural abundance, the natural abundant heart chakra colors and feelings and elements and everything else, right? Not only that, you're grounding yourself into it, which is beautiful. So connecting to anything to do with the element of air is going to be super beneficial to helping to balance your heart chakra. And then there's 3 archangels. For any of you I know, I see like method to my madness sometimes, once in a while, I asked about any of my angel lovers. So there's 3 archangels that you can really connect to that also help in this process of learning how to balance your heart chakra. So for any of you that like to meditate, or for any of you that like to connect spiritually, you can call in Archangel Metatron. He is really, really good for helping us to unplug from societal expectations and just really anchor into that sense of self. He's one that you call on for like anybody who experiences that like, oh my gosh, I just lost it. HSP, but I forget what it stands for. Highly sensitive people. Like he's an angel that governs people like that. He governs the Akashic field. He's super, super connected, right? So he's a really good one to call on. Archangel Samuel is also another one that's great to call on. And the reason is because he brings this like deep sense of calm, okay? And like easing anxiety, like allowing yourself that little bit of grace and compassion, right? Or others, like forgiveness. When we talk about forgiveness, ultimately, whether we're forgiving ourselves or we're forgiving someone else, it's ultimately for our highest and best good, because it releases everything for us, right? And then of course the other one is Archangel Raphael, and I mean he is like the ultimate healer angel, so he can heal many parts of you, but he's also presents himself normally as the color green, go figure. So he's often related to the heart chakra as well. So for any of you that really resonate with angels, those are 3 like kind of powerhouse ones. It's not that the other ones can't, because let's be real, if you like really, really resonate with Archangel Michael, call him in. He's obviously going to be a support for you, right? But I'm just saying these ones are often associated with the heart chakra. So I'm going to give you signs and symptoms of a blocked heart, because I mean, how do you know? How do you know if you have it, right? Well, physically, it can present itself as poor circulation, which I mean, a lot of things can. So keep in mind, this is like the tip of the iceberg, friends. Okay. I'm giving you a snippet on a Mindset Monday. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not diagnosing you with a blocked heart chakra, but like, I'm trying to educate you with as much as I can give in this, little bit of time that I have. You can also experience blood pressure extremes. So it can be extremely low, extremely high. So like, and this is, guys, this is huge. This is part of what I'm going to be teaching in the body section of that first or second week of my 6-week course. It's all about connecting you to your physical self, and like energy and body go hand in hand. So if your energy is off, oftentimes your body is off, and vice versa, right? If you feel things in your body because you're not really connected spiritually to yourself, whether that's to your soul, whether it's to something bigger, then you like things will manifest physically so that you start to pay attention to them if you're not paying attention to them spiritually. Okay. So then spiritually, the signs and symptoms are that we often feel disconnected. We don't feel connected in relationships. Our heart chakra is blocked from being able to connect on an intimate level. And that it can be an intimate relationship with a spouse or partner. It can be a friendship, because oftentimes we love our friends. So when we feel like our heart chakra is blocked, we will often feel disconnected from the people who mean a lot to us, right? Including ourselves, and then also our kids, right? a lot of times it means that you're easily triggered. That anger response is very quick because when, and especially with your family, when your family is triggering you to feel that anger response, it's usually because they're hitting a chord that runs deep in conditioning, trauma, experience from the past. It's usually not them that's making you mad. It's usually because it's hitting something else. Not always, but usually. So I'm just going to stick with that. So you may feel triggered a lot. You may have an inability to show empathy for others. You may just be like, F this, like I'm out. I have nothing left to give. I don't care that you're in the corner crying. Sit there and friggin' cry because like, I'm done. I'm done. My cup has been fully drained. So you may have that deep sense, which is not a fun place to be in, right? Especially when that is lack of empathy is toward your children. And I know mothers unite. Like motherhood is probably the hardest thing on the face of the planet. And when you have kids, and it doesn't matter what age your kids are, it doesn't matter if you're like in your 60s and your kids are adults, if they are struggling and they come to you and they're crying and like talking about how hard their life is, or like the money struggles they're having or anything else, like as a 60-year-old mom, if you were completely burnt out, you are not going to have the capacity to hold space for that person to work through their stuff, right? And like moms are the go-to. We are the heart of the household. We are the heart of our families. Look at the generations. It's always the grandma who holds things together. It's always the aunties. It's always the moms. It's the women of families that hold everything together. And that's such a true story. And I think, you know, when we don't have that ability to connect with ourselves on that deep level, it makes a big difference and it creates this ripple effect. When you're not okay, everyone else is not okay. I'll say that until the cows come home. And also when your heart is out of balance, we have a really hard time trusting ourselves and others. So if you have been burned in the past, if you have had this trauma passed, you know, onto you from other people, or if you've had conditioning passed onto you from your experiences, you just have all of these, I'll call them fatal flaws, which we'll learn more about in my 6-week program. But when you have these feelings, then you have a really difficult time connecting to your intuition and trusting it. You have a really hard time listening to yourself and listening to the guidance that inner guidance system is trying to give you, right? You have a really hard time trusting that what people are saying to you at face value is the truth. So let me know, drop it in the comments. Tell me if you experience any of these. And if this is resonating with you as either someplace that you've been or someplace that maybe you're currently at. Let me know. I would love to know. So yeah, oftentimes we will have these feelings when your heart chakra is blocked. We will have these feelings of jealousy. Like we might get triggered by posts we see online, right? About like, especially as entrepreneurs, oh, so-and-so is making $50,000 months. This person's making like $100,000 months. This person's bringing a consistent $10,000 months. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? Why can't I get there? Like I am coming from the same place. Why can't I get there? So you may have feelings of jealousy. You may have feelings of just deep hatred. Like you want to smother someone with a pillow because they get to sleep and you're up 24/7, right? Like with sick children or as babies or whatever. And like your husband sees peacefully sleeping in the bed next to you, just oblivious, right? You may have grief in your heart. You may grieve the loss of the person you were. You may have grief about the situations that you're currently in. It's almost like that state of being a victim, right? Like, look at all the stuff that I've had to deal with. The mountain is too high for me to overcome. I'm just going to shut down, right? And like, we don't want to be there. We don't want to be there. We don't want Earth, our experience on Earth, to be the hell portion of like heaven and hell, right? We want Earth to be a beautiful experience. And there are definitely ways that you can do this. So why is it so important to anchor in and live from a space of your heart? Well, 3 major things. It brings your heart space, brings acceptance, it brings forgiveness, and it brings that sense of inner peace. Is it the only place that does that? No, but it's the main place. Okay. When we talk about connecting with universal energy, when we talk about manifesting, when we talk about connecting with your higher self, when we talk about all of these things, it's your heart space that's activated along with your third eye and your crown. Okay. Like it's this space that is really the like motivational factor to get you to be able to connect to yourself and to others. So we need to have these, like this system working beautifully so that we don't become overwhelmed, right? You're learning to be a medium. If you want to be super spiritual and you're learning to be a medium and you have no like self-control, you don't have, you know, reins over your emotions, over your, what brings you that sense of inner peace. You don't have any kind of like sense of forgiveness when you can't enter whatever you want to say, then like it's really hard. You'll be bombarded by like these, you know, spirits or whatever that you're trying to connect with, because it's like, oh, you're open and you're on, your light is turned on. It means you're ready to like receive us, but you become too overwhelmed and you can't take care of yourself. Well, that just causes a whole pile of other issues, right? So, and also everything that's related to transformation and change, like when you're talking about making some kind of big life transformation, it has to come from that heart space, because ultimately we heal, we forgive, we accept from our heart, right? So if it is blocked, you're going to have a really hard time seeing the transformation that you want to see for yourself. So if you answered yes to any of those things of like experiences of what it feels like if you have a blocked heart chakra, I'm going to go through very quickly because this is not the time and space for me to be teaching about it. I'm just trying to bring awareness. That's the whole point in these Mindset Mondays, is to bring awareness. So I'm going to rattle off 6 ways that you can open your heart. If you want to learn more about this, friends, you want to be joining my course that starts on February 28th. This is all going to be part of the body and soul connection in that course. You will learn about how to listen to your body and how to open and unblock your chakras in the soul portion when we're talking about energetics. Okay. So 6 ways that you can open it up. You can do heart chakra meditations. There's tons of them on YouTube. You can just like put it in the search bar and find something. You can surround yourself with the color green, like I mentioned before. So including more green vegetables in your diet, like broccoli, leafy vegetables, green peppers, like anything green, doesn't matter. Crystals, and I did write down somewhere, the best kind of crystals that you can use. Well, not the best kind, but like some of them. Where's my list? Amazonite, emerald, malachite, peridot, and then also rose quartz. Like there are some pink ones because oftentimes your heart chakra is associated with pink too, but 9 times out of 10 it's green. So rose quartz is a crystal that helps with like opening your heart to love and your heart to love yourself and others. So yeah, surrounding yourself with color green is great. Then you can look at doing some chanting stuff. So there's mantras, there's different sounds that really activate that heart chakra space. So you can look at doing that if that's something that tickles your fancy. You can look at adding affirmations into your life, positive, loving affirmations for yourself. Like, I love myself deeply and accept myself fully. Things like that. Maybe you don't believe it at first, but that's something that you can work towards. So incorporating more affirmations in your life is a great way to work at opening and balancing that heart. Sonic therapy is another one, which is fantastic. It's one of my favorite things to do. I actually normally, when I go into my own Akashic records and I'm working and I'm doing things or I'm asking questions, whatever it is, I often will put different like binaural beats or like the Tibetan bowls or things like that on, depending on what I want to connect with. So if you want to connect with your heart, 341.3 hertz is the frequency that's associated with the element of air. And like I said, air governs the heart chakra. So if you want to kind of have this beautiful, flowy, open space feeling by listening to that hertz or that beat, then you can add that into your playlist. 528 hertz is the frequency of love. So they say. So that will give you that. The Tibetan bowls, like I said, so the Tibetan bowls are usually tuned to like specific keys, and which is super random. I'm not going to get into more of that, but the key of K is the one that opens or connects with your heart chakra specifically. So if Tibetan bowls is something that you absolutely love, the singing bowls, find any frequencies. Again, you can YouTube all of this and search for the key of K, and that will help connect you into your heart chakra. And last but not least, breath work, like I mentioned, because air again is the element that is governed, that governs the heart chakra, or yoga. Yoga is very much an physical activity that connects you to different chakras or different energy points in your body. So doing those 2 things can really, really help you connect and rebalance your heart space. So how do you live intentionally from your heart? How, like, because that was the title. I mean, it's not on Facebook yet, but that's the title, Living from Your Heart Space. How do you intentionally live from your heart space? Well, you heal if it's blocked. You take care of yourself and you open it up and you heal it and you allow yourself the space and time to do that. And if you can't do it by yourself, then go get yourself some support. Okay. It's worth it. I promise you, because when I think back to Catherine, like, 6 or 7 years ago versus who I am today, I am a completely different person. I'm a completely different person with how I handle things. I'm a completely different person with how I feel and think and speak about and to myself. Like, it's night and day. And the reason is because I invested in myself consistently, friends. I'm still investing in myself, because it doesn't end. It's not like you can do one activity of like connecting with your intuition, one activity to try and rebalance your heart. And it's like, boom, I'm fixed. It doesn't work that way. It has to be a continual thing. If you want it to grow, it's like anything else. You need to nurture it. You need to practice it, right? So healing is the best and probably first place I would suggest to start in like living intentionally from your heart space. Connecting with yourself often is another most important thing. Living intentionally from your heart space, because until you get used to speaking to your soul, speaking to your higher self, speaking to yourself, what does my heart desire? I often say that to clients that I'm working with. Well, what does your heart desire? What are your biggest, deepest desires? Well, if you don't know, because you never connect to yourself, that's going to be a struggle to figure out where you want to go, right? And I know there's been people that I've worked with that have a really, really hard time thinking big, right? Where like, I don't know what I want. I've never been asked that before. I've actually heard that. And it's like, that's so sad to me. It's so sad to me that you can't allow yourself to like dream big for yourself. Friends, like, this is your life. Don't let other people control it. Engage in activities that spark love, joy, passion, excitement, any of those things, right? Because, sorry, hold that thought. When you connect to things that are going to bring you those feelings that a balanced heart chakra gives you, where your energy goes, where your attention flows, energy goes, right? So the more that you're intentionally connecting to activities that bring you joy or passions that you have, the more those things are going to present themselves in their life. And the more you surround yourself with that energy and vibration, the easier it is for you to rise up and meet that frequency. We are energetic beings, and our hearts are the ones that emit the biggest amount of like, well, I don't know what the word is, not radiation, but you know what I mean? Like, it emits the most energy. Oh my God. I swear to God, I know what I'm talking about. Oh, welcome to Monday morning. So connecting more to that on like a more frequent basis is only going to make that come out of you even more. And the more deeply you're going to feel it inside. So depending on how you land on your human design, I know some of us, like for myself in particular, I am a non-specific manifester. So in order for me to be able to bring things to life that I want to have happen, I have to connect with it emotionally. It doesn't matter. I don't need to write like, I want to make $50,000 this month. That is not going to mean anything to me as a non-specific manifester. I need to connect with the feeling of that. So if I were to bring in $50,000 in a month, what is that going to feel like to me? And the more that I connect to that, the faster that it's going to show up for me, because that's how I'm designed to manifest, right? So when you connect to these things in your heart, living intentionally from your heart, especially for those of you who are designed that way, when according to human design, everything is just going to happen on a more frequent basis for you. Okay. Put yourself in a spacious place and connect with the element of air. That is another way to intentionally connect to your heart space and allow it to remain balanced or in the process of balancing it. So get outside. Anything that you can do outside, get outside. The more that you can like get into nature, do some forest bathing, things like that. The more you can immerse yourself in this natural abundance of like green energy, colored green, and the energy of Mother Earth, the better it's going to be for your heart. And then, like I said earlier, you can be intentional with things that you surround yourself with. Like if you want to wear crystals, I didn't put my Amazonite one on today. And it's funny because I picked it up and then I was like, no, this one's calling out to me today. So apparently for whatever reason, I need this one today. But if I was intentionally connecting to my heart space, I might choose an Amazon bracelet to wear, or I might choose malachite to put in my bra. Because like many of us crystal lovers will just fill our bras with crystals, right? So why do you want to live from an intentional place? Because it brings a sense of calm to your life. I mean, who doesn't want a little more inner peace and a little less stress in their life? It helps regulate your emotions, because when you can ground yourself into forgiveness, acceptance, all of those kind of things, you are going to be able to regulate your emotions a little bit more, which in turn means you can co-regulate easier with those people around you, particularly the tiny humans who need that, right? You will be less triggered because you are able to heal yourself. You're probably going through the space of healing yourself. And in healing your heart, you heal a lot of other things. It's like this beautiful ripple effect. When you pull the rug back and you open the door to healing and to those shadows, which again, we are going to be focusing on in my 6-week program. So if any of you need a little hand holding to do this, my friends, you are going to want to get inside of this course. It's going to be life-changing. I can 100% guarantee that to you. 100%. So you will be less triggered by those people around you, which in turn means that you're going to show more patience. Who doesn't want a little more patience for the people that we are surrounded with 24/7, whether it's work people, whether it's family people, whether it's friend people, it doesn't matter, but you will have more patience for the people around you. You might feel a little bit more inspired, because when we connect to our heart space, we are allowing ourselves to connect intuitively. And I will tell you something, friends, this is something that one of the girls, who I am connected with said, and I couldn't say more beautifully: creativity cannot survive in a perfectionist mindset. Okay. And like no truer words have been spoken. When we are in this place of like overgiving, people pleasing, perfectionism, those are all coping mechanisms for something else. I'm just going to leave that nugget with you. They're not personalities, they're coping mechanisms. And so when you open yourself up to healing and you open your heart space and you open all of this other stuff, it opens you to that level of creativity that, or inspiration that you maybe have not had access to before. And so, I mean, who doesn't want to live a little bit more inspired life? I know I do. It also creates more passion in your life. So maybe it's that you have a little bit more self-trust to follow the things that you feel passionate about or that you love to do. Maybe it's that you add a little bit more romance into your marriage. Maybe it's that you can connect deeper to your children or to your friends. But like this element of passion it increases a whole lot when you have a balanced heart space. And of course, last but not least, I mean, it just brings a crap ton of joy into your life. So when you have a heart that is open, that is not blocked, where that energy is flowing freely, and keep in mind, this is one out of 7 centers in your body. I'm speaking about one, friends. So by opening one, if you have blockages everywhere else, there may not be that beautiful flow that I'm speaking about. But 9 times out of 10, when we enter a healing journey, we end up healing all 7, which does open kind of the floodgates of this like just completely joyful life. So that is my rant for today. Living intentionally from your heart space is one of the best shifts that I have ever made for myself, because not only does it affect me personally, my level of energy, my level of joy, my level of patience, my level of acceptance for myself and others, my level of trust for myself and others has absolutely, like, probably quadrupled since I've been on my personal journey. But, you know, it is the most beautiful transformation you could do for yourself, because when you are allowed to live from a place of like, what brings me the most amount of joy, like your whole environment changes, your work life changes. When I work, I don't work. Like I connect, and I'm excited every single day when I get to go on and connect with people. I can tell you, friends, I was not excited every single day to have to get up and go into a school. I was not. Did I love my job? Yes. Do I love teaching? Yes, undeniably. But I did not love going into a dirty old building that had like no fresh air, where you were basically told what to say, when to say it, how to say it, who to say it to. You couldn't actually speak your truth because, God forbid, you shared anything that didn't like go along with like public education guidelines, right? So you were really not free to be who you are authentically. And unfortunately, God love teachers. I love and appreciate you all. But you're just not given the space to be an influence the way that you probably could, because there's too many restrictions. And I can tell you that being in the space that I'm in now, and I'm not saying everybody needs to quit their job. Maybe you love doing that. Maybe you don't want to quit, and that's totally fine. But if you're in a place where you are completely unhappy, then anchoring in and doing the healing and connecting to yourself and investing in yourself is the best way for you to be able to then find your brave, find your courage, find your confidence to make whatever change that is for you. That's what happens when you can be confident in yourself and you can trust yourself undeniably. Then it opens up that sense of freedom for you to be able to choose what is going to bring the most amount of joy into your life. I feel it, Bev. I feel you so deeply. And so I will leave you with that. For any of you that have listened to this all the way through, I appreciate you so much being here with me. You too, Tracy. Thanks for joining me, love. I would absolutely, I just thank you for being here and sharing your energy with me. It means a lot when people show up live, and I know I don't always go on at the most ideal times for everybody to catch me live. So those of you that join me, I really love that you share your space with me. For any of you that are interested and watch this on the replay and feel pulled to learn more about this class that I'm offering, like reach out. I'm going to drop a link in all of the places. We'll jump on a call, or we can talk in the DMs, whatever you feel comfortable with, and ask your questions, because I'm here and I believe deeply. I know this program is going to be transformational for the people who need it the most. And so if you feel in your gut, like, oh, that sounds like something that I could really benefit from, then let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation, because I am here to empower the world. I'm here to empower the world, and I'm willing to do that however I can. So I will leave you with that today. I'll drop all the links. I hope you guys all have the most fantastic week. And again, I appreciate you joining me. Have a beautiful rest of your day.